Oh, the music's good. What do you have?
I don't have a lot of. I actually haven't played this.
Or is it looking for a game? What is it doing? This is much more. This is better.
I told you you're gonna be happy. So, yeah. Carrie Nora got it correct. The deal is that we needed to relax just a little bit. Because poor Star, I think she'd had as much of that as she could handle for a little bit.
That was a bit. Like, I was...
I think that was the most
I don't know what
wanted.
I'm doing. Hold on. Forward. Nope, that's a jump. How do I...
The triggers
that
are...
one.
Yeah.
Wait. How do I move forward? Oh, this guy. Never mind.
Yeah. So the idea here is, Rocket League to me is the perfect horror game palate cleanser. Because like, you don't think about anything scary, it's just pure, joyful expenditure of energy. That's all it is.
Oh, nope, that's not gonna work out.
Yeah, but cool move.
Damn it. Already? I'm so bad at this. Oop. No, go down. There we go. No, just touch the ball. I can't touch the ball.
Yeah, you have to kind of predict where it's gonna be.
This is like this is how I play soccer in real life.
Like run around it.
I'm just this bad as well.
Better be. Oh yeah, gun it. And jump at that.
Just touch it. Nope. Okay, well we won.
Yeah, and I would say that you contributed.
Yeah, very definitely contributed.
I mean, equip that now. You gotta equip that now.
Oh.
That's okay.
Wait. Go back?
No, too late. It's already...
Oh. What am I doing?
It's... You got a 35-second counter until your next match.
Oh. I'm still stressed out. Like
that really got to you.
I felt like it feels like I went on a run.
That bad, huh?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I should have checked my heart rate on my watch.
You think it would have been high?
Yeah, it's probably still high.
You can't do one of these and count it?
No.
Poor Star.
Ugh.
Right layer.
I was like, there'll be some snacks, it'll be fine. How bad could it be?
So do you not watch horror stuff on your own?
No, why would I ever?
Okay. I actually didn't watch a lot of horror growing up, but in my adulthood I've started to like it more. Dave loves it. It's his favorite thing.
Here's the thing with horror for me. Like, I'm generally scared almost all the time. anyway. That's just
Okay.
life. So why would I pay for any sort of entertainment to give me that feeling when I could just go outside and have that same feeling? You know,
Okay.
does that make sense?
It does. But I would say it's ideally giving a different kind of fear.
No, it's about the same.
Okay. That's fair.
And I have the same type of I have too much empathy when I watch a movie. I can't frustrate. This is the worst Rocket League playing. With like whatever, if as soon as I sympathize with the character in a show or a movie, whatever they feel, I feel. So if they feel like they're gonna die, I feel like I'm gonna die. Same thing with like thrillers. Like I tend to only watch comedies and animated stuff unless I'm hanging out with like Tom and Dave and them, and they're like, we're gonna watch this movie that's very popular, or like you should have seen this when you were younger.
And then you do, and then you like it usually, or no?
It depends. Horror, they figured out I'm not good with horror.
What's your favorite
They figured
drama?
that out real fast. Drama?
Yeah.
I don't really have a favorite drama.
Huh.
I'm trying to think of one that was just like, oh yeah, that.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
That was bad.
The drama.
Yeah.
The Godfather.
I've never seen The Godfather.
Oh boy. Citizen Kane.
Nope, never seen it.
Okay.
I do want to go to Hearst Castle though. I want to go.
Hearst Castle's amazing. At the risk of sounding mildly prejudiced, what if it wasn't a movie about a white person? Are there any of those that are interesting?
No. Because even most of like your classic like dramatic black people movies I haven't seen either, just because I'm like, well, I don't want to like just feel it.
So you don't want to feel any tension in the movie?
Minimal, and drama is all about like that's all drama's about.
Correct. Like so, Fruitvale Station, you didn't like that?
I don't know what that is.
Oh man. Okay. What about action movies?
I love action movies.
So that's tense.
Yeah, but that's like ridiculous tense, and it's like
You
the
don't
right
believe it.
level. That's like the right level of like where I could handle it, because I don't foresee myself being in scenarios where like I have to defuse a bomb or anything like that. And usually action movies, at least nowadays, make sure they include a lot of comedy.
Mm-hmm.
So it works out. Or they'll include like a really good stunt or a fight scene that I could appreciate. Like I love the John Wick movies just because I'm like, oh, all like the fighting and the gunshots is just beautiful.
Interesting. Did you like The Matrix?
Yes. But that one,
Okay.
I wouldn't have gone to see that on my own, but my teacher in high school was like, if you go see this movie, I'll give you extra credit.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I'm a nerd, so I'm going to go see it because I want the extra credit. And I did, and I really enjoyed it.
Did you like Fight Club?
Not really. It was fine. I just thought the guy was a jerk.
Mm. Oh.
Oops.
That's interesting. Because I think for a lot of us, Gen X to millennial
Oh, yeah,
guys,
no, it's like one of those.
that movie's the one.
It's like, oh man, that movie really like speaks to me. It's like, kind of, and I was just like, okay, I guess. But to me, he was just kind of like, he was kind of, he was psychotic, but he was also mean.
He was mean. Yeah. He was very sad.
American Beauty was one of those two where I was just like, okay, like, get over it. That was my take on that. I was like, get over it. Stop being a creep. Like, you could leave. You could just go.
That's interesting. It's bizarrely not empathetic, given your propensity for empathy.
Well, it's hard when it's like you can see that they have other options and they're not really trapped.
You mean
but-
getting divorced?
Yeah.
That's not as real of an option for everybody as we'd like to think it
What
is.
the fat character it was. You know what's a movie that stressed me out that I really like? I still don't like it. Meet the Parents. Meet the Parents really stressed me out, and I'm like, this is supposed to be funny. This isn't funny.
Did you ever watch the BBC Office?
I tried and I couldn't get through it.
Let's see.
But even season 1 of The American Office, I couldn't really get through. I'd start season 2 with that. Had to start with season 2 with Parks and Rec.
Yep. Awkward comedy. You don't like it.
Oh man, I have not been able to get through an episode of Curb. I watch halfway through and then I have to look up what happens at the end because I don't. Same thing with Always Sunny. I want to love Always Sunny so much because I really like those characters and I can't get through an episode.
Curb Your Enthusiasm is like comedy crack for me.
It's so stressful. Because there's so much of like, just communicate, just say what you want. You don't want to do the thing, just don't do the thing. Just.
It's great.
Why are you? But like, there's like I know I get nervous about leaving cups of things on wood because of Curb.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm aware of the cultural.
You don't respect wood.
Yeah.
He's a genius.
Tilting your head,
so good.
Tilting your head and just be like, like that whole like.
Oh, perfect.
Like
when he thinks you're lying.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Like like there's aspects of it that I like and appreciate, but I've never watched the full episode all the way through, just because
perfect.
I can't.
Mike CZ, 1979. You think he's 38?
Maybe.
I mean, clearly he is. I mean, I guess he could have gotten a car from that year or something. Harry Noir is in this chat. Just, like, her and Abe are having a mind meld right now.
I'm trying to think of other...
I just, like, I didn't understand this about you until tonight. This is the first time I've ever understood that.
Okay, I'm trying to think of, like, one of the last times I saw a scary movie in the theater. Or at least ones that, like, have stuck with me. What's the movie? Is it Catherine Zeta-Jones and it was, like, The House with the Children?
Oh, The Haunting?
Yes. Like, I had friends take me to that in high school, and one of them left, like had scars on their arm for a little bit because they squeezed their arm too hard.
That was, like, maybe 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Like, Actually, I saw Get Out because everyone was talking about Get Out.
It was good.
And I liked Get Out. But you know how I had to see that? I spoiled myself before I went in. I read everything I could about it before I went into the theater. So I knew exactly what was going to happen.
Wow.
And it was still tense. But it's like, I knew what was coming, so I was able to, like, not have a heart attack. And just reading the description, I'm like, ooh, this is clever. This is really clever.
I don't think that I know anybody who enjoys movies as much as you do.
What do you mean? Like...
I mean that, like, movies are fundamentally emotion machines. That's what they are.
Yeah.
Like, they deliver feelings. And in order to enjoy them the most, you should feel the most. Right? And I don't know anybody that's as affected by movies as you are.
When was the last time you cried at a movie?
Cried?
Yeah.
I cry at movies sometimes. When was the last movie I cried at?
Did you see Coco?
No.
I was pretty much bawling after the first song in that movie.
I have to have something more substantive, probably. Like, I need something that's probably based around pain. That's the thing that I connect to more.
Okay.
Or once in a while, a rom-com that's done perfectly gets me.
Okay.
You know?
Like which rom-com?
I still really like When Harry Met Sally, even though the views on gender don't work now, but I still really like that movie. I need to give you a movie that I actually cried at, and I'm trying to think. God damn it. I remember having cried at a movie as recently as a month ago, and I can't think of what it was.
Star Wars?
No, I don't care about Star Wars, or Marvel, or any of that. I don't care. I don't think that stuff matters. It was Battleship. Abe says that's true.
Battleship?
No,
Is
I
that the
don't.
Rihanna movie?
I don't think so. Fuck, what the fuck was this movie? I don't know, I'm gonna think of it later, Star, and just
Okay.
yell it. Or like, I'm gonna wake up in the middle of the night tonight at 5 a.m. and like text you. It's this!
Maybe am I not jumping right? Oh, that's why.
You have more options, jump-wise.
I am definitely not a good Rocket League player at all.
Oh, it takes a while. That just got me. I just thought of something. Like sometimes when like
Yeah.
somebody's
I cried. Somebody, what? I can't scroll back up on the chat. Hold on, let me see.
Star Trek reboot, October Sky, Abe loves that. Oh, my bad.
Yeah. Am I
Try
back
again.
on? Yeah, we go.
Are you scrolling through?
Yeah, I
Maybe
cried
during
at
Airbud.
Moana. I cried at pretty much any recent Disney movie I've cried at. Although I didn't cry with Frozen. But I will say in the theater, the betrayal of Han really, I was like, what? I was like, good job, Disney. But Moana, for sure, I cried. But Coco just hit it's about family. Like, it's immediately, like, you hear that first song and you're like, oh, this is that happy song that's going to turn out to be a sad song if you listen to the lyrics. And it was like, oh, this is going to gut me. But I also cry at the shorts, too, like, beforehand.
Sometimes those are good.
Did you ever see Paperman?
I did, and I liked it.
Yeah, I cried with Paperman.
You cried?
I cried with Paperman.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I'm very. That's why I'm like, oh, okay, Disney movies are my jam because I'm allowed to like. I know nothing bad is gonna happen at the end, so I'm allowed to like have the emotion.
What if something bad did happen? Then you wouldn't be allowed?
Then it would stick with me too long. It wouldn't be like the release. You know, does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
30 seconds left on the clock.
It's funny, man. I make movies, and I don't experience them as intensely as you do. Not even close.
Like I've cried watching the Overwatch shorts. The May one in particular. I was like, May, I don't like your character.
Oh.
Like,
I know what I cried at recently.
What did you-
This was really fucking stupid. Really stupid.
I bet it's not stupid. I bet it's a good
really
cry.
stupid. No, it's stupid.
Go to leader.
I cried at the Super Mario Odyssey trailer from E3 because it was a surprise that it was Mario,
Aww.
and it was like, oh my god! And I love Mario. Everybody knows this. And that trailer, like every beat of it, made that game look fucking amazing.
Oh, that's great.
And
That's
I was
not
like-
sad. That's not
Well,
silly.
I cried because I've been sad that Nintendo has been failing for like 10 years. They've been doing bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then they launched this console, the Switch, and it's done really well. And Zelda was fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And they came out and like hit a home run. Like a fucking home run. And it's like, fuck yeah, Nintendo. I loved it.
Oh,
loved it.
that's great.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, that's a solid reason to have like an emotional.
Yeah. I'm a fanboy. Mike makes
Yeah.
fun of me all the time for it, and that's fine. Because he loves Sega. Yeah, it got me. I was like, man, I love watching the Masters come back. I love it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild was great. But I'm not nostalgic for Zelda. I just think Zelda's really good. Mario is what I love about video games. Like, it's like the first game I ever played was Mario. Mario 64 is one of the best games I've ever played.
Am I not in a match? Why am I not in a match? Oh, they're finding people.
I know you're doing a tutorial, looks like.
Yeah, so I credit that bullshit.
There's a U2 song that gets me sometimes. And I know everyone will be like, U2, fuck you, they suck.
You seem like
fine.
a YouTube person.
Me?
Yeah.
You don't know what that even fucking means.
As soon as you said U2, I was just like, yeah, I could see Adam wearing a U2 shirt.
I have 4.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, yeah, that suits you.
Why? What's wrong with that?
It's not that it's wrong. I'm just saying that suits you.
I don't even think. Why?
This visually, as soon as that you said that, that clicked. I was like, yes, that does not seem strange to me that you would wear a U2 shirt and be a fan of them.
I like U2.
Yeah, that's fine. That's good.
I took a lot of shit from Cody and some other people at Cracked.
Were you happy that you got the free album?
No.
They've been good in like 20 years.
Oh, well.
Maybe even longer. But they had like a 10-year run that was amazing. Like everything from Joshua Tree to Pop even, and I'm the only one that thinks this, was really good.
I only know, I guess, whatever random hit if somebody said, like, oh, that's you two. I'd be like, oh, okay, I've heard that around, but I'm not familiar with their...
I'm telling you right now, it's not true.
You know like 40 songs.
Oh, I'm sure, that's what I mean. Like, I couldn't name them off the top of my head, but I'm sure if you played it, I'd be like, oh, yeah, I like that song.
Beautiful Day.
Oh, yeah, I like it. Like, it's fine.
Mysterious Ways.
I don't...
It's alright, it's alright, alright.
No, I don't know.
She moves. Yeah, you do. You know it. I'm telling you right now. I can't sing it in this fucking echo chamber, but you know it. For 100%, you know it. Yeah. Anyway, everybody gives me shit about it, but I legitimately think U2 is really great.
I don't make fun of people's music taste just because I know my music taste is garbage outside of, like, the bands that I really, really like, but, like, just my casual listening is not...
What are the 3 bands you really, really like?
My favorite band is Jukebox the Ghost.
Never even heard them.
Yeah, they're like a smaller, but I've been a fan of theirs for like over a decade.
That's cool.
And they kind of do, it's like college pop, but they've aged with, like, they're not that age anymore, so their songs have also grown with them. So I'm like the right age for it. Like, I started when they were we're the same age.
Yeah.
So their music stays relevant to me as it as they grow. So I'm
They
like,
age
okay.
up with you.
Yeah, so I enjoy their stuff. But then, like, my other stuff that I like are like EDM things. So I like Deadmau5 and Diplo and all that stuff. And then kind of like quirky pop stuff. Quirky pop, weird horn music. Like
Weird Form.
horn music. Like,
Horn music.
Like Too Many Zoos is the band that I like.
That's a great name.
Zoo spelled Z-O-O-Z.
Also good.
So yeah, let's like stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I like
some
white guy
rap,
music.
but like the 90s dirty rap, like the booty music stuff I'll enjoy.
Oh.
Like that, like 90s booty music
Is your thing.
from when I was a kid essentially, and I was like, oh
But-
yeah, this is the shit.
But
Like
let me ask you this.
like Trina, oh my god. But she's
Let me ask you
filthy.
this. Is it because you were not allowed to be sexual at that age, but you wanted to be?
No, it was just the music that was literally around me that was played all the time at school.
Got it.
So it was just like, this is what I hear all the time. So it's just
Yeah.
like, yeah. Even though when I was a kid, like I was the kid that was just like, ew. So I'd listen to it, but feel gross. But
Yeah.
I liked it because everyone else was having a good time and dancing and
Sure.
partying.
Sure.
Every time I hear Bow Down by West Side Connections,
I don't know
I'm
that
like,
at all.
oh my god.
What
It's
is
your
that?
time. It's your era.
Yeah, I don't know it off like by name. Maybe I've heard it.
Fuck, bow down.
Wanna come to your town. Bow
Probably.
down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But like Trina has a song called "Pull Over," and the main lyrics are like "Pull over that ass too fat," and it's about like catcalling, which is super not appropriate. But it's about catcalling someone down the street and like honking at them, telling them their
Yeah.
ass is too big, and that.
Too big.
But like in a good way, like damn, like pull
Yeah,
over,
nice,
like it's too,
yeah.
like what?
Yeah.
What are you doing walking around with that thing? Like kind of.
Catcalling's so dumb.
Yeah.
So dumb. Yo, girl.
And then
I
like
like
random
that.
like Caribbean soca music and stuff like that, which is
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
yeah. So that's I mean my taste is like all over the place.
Yeah.
I don't really have too much country on there.
There's no such thing as too much country.
Like but I don't definitely have like maybe 2 or 3 songs, but nothing that's. But I tend to like mostly everything. Essentially, if you can move to it, I'm gonna have a good time with it.
Only listen to. That's not true. I have a lot of music taste, but like, I have a lot of white guy angsty music. A lot of it. A whole lot of it. Like I've been sending music to this thread that all the Fired Crack people are on, and it's all been like just sad bastard
Is it
shit.
like I Feel So by like Boxcar? What's
No, dude.
Or is
No.
it?
So like, I'm gonna list some shit for you, and maybe it'll make you laugh. We'll see. You'll laugh, I think. I'm pulling up this list right now. So, and I'm also like a hipster when it comes to music.
I'm also trying to figure out how to get into an actual game because it's not. It says it's
You
fine.
gotta exit this. Hey, let me
It
help-
says
let me
it's
help you.
looking for players.
Let me help you.
There you go.
Oh, that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
Interesting. We'll just start from the top.
Cool.
Okay, so the first song.
Like Linkin Park?
No. I was always a little too arrogant to like that band. I have a song by Nirvana.
Mm-hmm.
I have a song by Sonic Youth
Okay.
from Daydream Nation.
Okay. What about Good Charlotte? You got any Good
No.
Charlotte?
No. I have Tom Waits. Wilco. I love Wilco.
All these songs I only know through karaoke with people. Like these bands. Like I would have never listened to them on my own, but via karaoke and people picking these things, I'm like, oh, okay.
I have a single Flying Lotus song. I really like
Oh,
Flying
Flying
Lotus.
Lotus is great. I saw him
Yeah.
perform.
He's great. He's really great. I've had every one of his records. I really like him. I have a song by the Walkmen.
The Walkmen. How do
They're
I know?
great. They're
Why
really
do I
good.
know that?
I don't know. Panda Bear, My Bloody Valentine,
My Bloody Valentine.
Animal Collective, Beck.
Beck
Bjork.
is great. I like Beck.
Beck is fucking amazing in
Beck
concert.
did a good chunk of the music in the Scott Pilgrim movie.
Yeah. Rage Against the Machine,
Okay.
Zeppelin.
I saw them perform when I went to go see Muse at the
Oh
college.
man, really?
Yeah, but we were all the way in the back, and then people tried starting mosh pits,
Yep.
and I got scared because I just wanted to see Muse. I wasn't really there for Rage.
Yeah. Abe just said Loveless. I love that record. Like really, really love it. I skipped over it, but I love it. Bjork. I love Bjork.
Bjork's cool. I like her visuals.
I like her
I like
music.
her visuals more than I like her music.
Have you ever listened to Post? It's fucking amazing. Also, Vespertine is fucking amazing.
Vespertine?
Those are her 2 best records.
Oh, okay.
They're both fucking amazing. Remember when she showed up in that swan dress?
Yeah.
That was because that was her album.
Oh.
Yeah. That was her thing.
See, I just liked her music videos with like, the robots and then the Michelle Gondry video.
That's
was
all
really
from
cool.
Vespertine. Half that shit's from Vespertine. Anyway, you get the idea. I put a Bob Dylan track in there, and some jackass in the thread was like, Bob Dylan sucks. And I was like, no, dude. That you're just wrong.
Again, only musicians I know via karaoke.
Bob Dylan?
Yeah, like I wouldn't listen to him on my own.
Oh, whoa, really?
Like,
he's amazing.
It just didn't come up in my like growing up. I grew up like in inner city Miami, where everything
Sure.
was just that just never came up in the like people talking about music and songs.
Probably not when you're a kid. I get that, but like, it's strange as an adult never to have encountered him.
Well, at karaoke I have, and it's just kind of like, oh, okay.
Man, Bob Dylan's so good. Yeah, he's not very rhythmic though. He's very lyric based. He's more of a poet almost. I have a stupid song from Tony Hawk. Yeah. Yeah, it's all sad white guy music. A Velvet
Yeah.
Underground song.
At least it's not angry white guy music.
I'm a little too old for that. I mean, Rage Against the Machine is angry white guy music.
Yeah, but not like scary though. There's
Like,
scary
what's
angry.
scary? Like System of a Down?
Yeah. Well, I like System of a Down. They're fun.
I do too.
That's like a fun.
No combo song.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really fun. Like what? Like Limp Bizkit? Like
No, wait. No,
They're just bad.
Maybe like Limp Bizkit.
or like Disturbed, like that shit.
Yeah, like that stuff.
But nobody listens to that, do they?
I mean, they're popular enough, right?
I mean, 20 years ago.
Mm.
Like, nobody listens to rock music anymore. There's very little of it
Yeah.
that people listen to. Yeah. Oxygen Baby says Rage Against the Machine is angry everyone music. That's probably true.
Yeah.
That's a band that just is really good, and they're just really angry. But they're really good. You know, like, one of a kind.
Uh,
Abe only listens to middies. Stupid.
Oops. What happened?
Oh, sorry.
You
Hit
switched
the PlayStation button. It'll fix.
Oh, okay.
Now go back to it.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Only microphone audio is being broadcast?
Okay.
Okay, now they're fine. Okay. Man, I missed, like, early internet midis. I used to collect them.
I don't know why you would collect that when you can just have it now.
Well, yeah, now, like, I mean, I don't collect it anymore, but back in the day when you're like, oh man, this is this version of this song. Oh, I'm gonna embed this on a website.
Johnny Noir just mentioned my favorite band.
Radiohead?
I've listened to every Radiohead record, every release, every single, every song. Like, I love that band.
Even the free one?
Oh yeah. All of it.
Okay.
What's wrong with the
I
feeling?
don't know, it was kind of
No,
boring.
that's you too.
No, there was like isn't there a free Radiohead album that they released that was just like, hey, you can use this wherever. They just like, or like pay us what you want.
Yeah, that was In Rainbows. That was a good record. You didn't like it?
It was kind of boring. But then NPR started using it for a lot of their background music and stuff
Yeah.
because they said it was free for everybody, and NPR was like, thank you. And
It
then I
was like, pay what you want. But
yeah.
sure.
And I was like, okay, like I appreciate that they gave out free music that people could use.
Yeah. I thought In Rainbows was a good record. But that's just me. And most people.
Like it was, I mean, it was fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's not Kid A. It's not OK Computer.
Like the one time I went to Coachella, they played, and I remember just being like, oh, okay. Like I watched it, and I was like, all right.
Whoa.
Like people,
What year was that?
Within the last 8 years, it was the year like Deadmau5 played there, and I was really bummed that I was so exhausted by the end of the day. Like I couldn't hold myself up in the tent. The people I went with pulled me out of the tent. They're like, "You're gonna get crushed. Come outside and eat pizza." I'm like, "But I want to listen."
I went and saw them in 2005 at Coachella. and I was in the front row, and they were the best show I've ever seen. The Pixies opened for them,
Oh.
and it was great.
It was whatever the year, I think Muse was that year.
Muse.
Every time I've gone to see Muse in concert, like, something bad has either happened at the concert or in my life, so I've kind of, like, stopped trying to go see Muse.
I have a secret theory on that. Maybe Muse was the bad thing that was happening.
Well, like for example, at Coachella when they performed, one of their monitors, like visual monitors, just went out. So like half of their visuals, which is a good chunk of their show, wasn't working.
Right. Oh, was it 04, Abe? Okay, yeah, 04.
The other time we tried to go see them, like we were in Paris and we heard that they were playing. We're like, let's try to go get scalp tickets, and we couldn't communicate and we couldn't get tickets. So we could kind of hear them outside, and it was like one of those just exhausting days where you really tried to like have this mission, and we failed.
Yeah.
And then it was the Rage Against the Machine thing where like they started having a riot right before they came out, and people were trying to light things on fire, and mosh pits were happening around me, so I couldn't like actually pay attention to what was happening on the screen, and I could barely hear because we were so far back, couldn't hear it.
I just always thought Muse was worse than Radiohead. I thought Radiohead was better.
They were like theatrical, kind of like a little teeny. Their visuals were good. Like, they were fine. But now looking back, like, I liked them more at the time, and now that I've grown from it, I'm like, okay. Like,
yeah.
And then the one time, like, finally got to see a concert, we paid for the tickets, gonna go see them at the Staples Center. My ex and I broke up like 3 days before. And we were like, well, we're gonna go see this show though, right? Like, we like have these tickets.
Oh no.
So we still went to go see the show.
Oh no.
And mind you, that's the only show with no technical problems.
Oh,
like,
no.
it was just like, it was a fine Muse show, but like emotionally not
That
really all
sucks.
there. So I was like,
That
you know what,
sucks.
I'm done with Muse, done trying to go see them.
Ugh. I hate that.
But like, you paid so much for the tickets, you know, and you're like,
I know.
we still got along at the time, like we were just breaking up.
I had one of the worst shows, like for personal reasons, ever when I saw U2 for the front row for that.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Did
it
at
was
least
sad.
get your mind off of like personal
No.
stuff? Oh.
No, it happened at the concert.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's life. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna answer Carrie Norris' question, top 3 bands. So, here's how I'm gonna answer that. I'm gonna answer it by how much of their body of work do I like, and sort of how many records they have that I listen to. So, number 1 is Radiohead. Number 2 is probably Tom Waits at this point, because he's got like 10 records I like. And I guess I'm gonna say Wilco as number 3. But it could be U2, and it could be Fleet Foxes, and it could be Nirvana, and a bunch of other things.
What was the first CD you ever owned?
I owned Purple by Stone Temple Pilots,
Okay.
which is great. Good record. It has Interstate Love Song on it.
Oh, okay, I know that one.
And, what's the name of that song? Big Empty? Time to take her home the easiest. You know that one?
I know of it, but I'd never go out of my
It's
way to
great.
play that.
It's really good. Yeah. Yeah, it's gotta be Tom Waits. I mean, the
Wait,
truth
and that-
is,
is
I
that your
like a
first,
lot of
like-
the Beatles
Is that
stuff.
wait, is that your first cassette or like your first like CD?
I
Like,
never owned a cassette.
you never owned a cassette?
No, man.
Are we the same age, or am I older than you?
You're younger than me.
How did you not own a cassette? I owned a cassette.
Like, I got a CD player when I was 13, and that's around the time that I got that
You never
CD.
like recorded like mixtapes off the radio?
No, man.
Man,
No.
Okay.
Oh. I didn't do a lot of things that most people do.
Okay.
Like, I didn't go to prom. I didn't have like a real girlfriend till college.
That's most people.
Well, I didn't. Yeah.
High school relationships don't count.
They do count.
Nah.
Some people get married. And sometimes it works out. Who knows? Who am I to tell somebody their relationship's not real?
I didn't say not real. I said it doesn't count.
Well, if it's real, it counts. Right?
I just feel like the way you were in high school is so like not. You're super not an adult. Like you're just mentally. Like it's just such a different mental game.
I don't think I was as far from who I am now in high school. Maybe I am. I don't know. It's been a long time. Ween and Lagwagon. Wow.
Cake?
Interesting bands. Cake.
Is that skirt song?
It's the I need your arms around me. I need to feel your touch.
Yeah. Okay.
Boom, boom, boom.
Short skirt, long jacket?
I don't
Is that
know.
that one? I think that's that one.
No, that one's called Never There. I don't know. Because I would work the Dead Kennedys. Yeah, I'm not a punk scene guy. I don't like the 70s punk stuff. I know that Dave would beat me.
Dave's all about that.
Yeah, that's what he loves. Well, and Cody loves all those jam bands. He fucking loves jam bands.
Hey, give me all the pop. I was very much like early 2000s pop. Your Britney Spearses, your Backstreet Boys.
I put a Jennifer Lopez song in this thread, and nobody said shit. It was waiting for tonight.
Yes,
Nobody put anything.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's great.
Yeah.
I got to PA for her once.
I heard she's a nightmare. Am I wrong?
It wasn't her. Like, her people are just very specific about,
But
like,
she was really nice?
what she, like, I never got to, like, directly interact with her outside of, like, there she is, you know, like, she never, there was no reason for her to talk to me. I was so low on the totem pole
Sure.
that it was just not, you know.
Yeah.
But, like, I interacted with her mom and maybe her nanny.
Well, that's nice.
And they were nice. Like, they were like, you know.
I've never really met and interacted with a seriously famous person. I've never done that. I did see George Lucas at film school a bunch of times and watch the dean of our school tackle college freshman who was skating up to him to hand him a spec script.
Oh,
It was
no.
so good. Oh, so good.
No.
I watched the whole thing happen.
That's
It's
great.
it's like almost definitely where George Lucas got the idea for how Yoda's lightsaber fight went.
Yeah.
It was like watching Dean Daly tackle this fucking guy. It was great. Really good.
Because of JLo, I learned that you can make smoothies out of quinoa milk. Because I went to,
Quinoa makes milk?
there's a quinoa milk that you could get. Not almond milk, not,
That's so good. Carrie Noir, Drain You is the song I put in the crack thread. That's funny.
yeah, I had
Built to spill for Abe. Guster. Abe, you handsome bastard. I love it. Sorry, go ahead. I interrupted you.
No, it's fine. I was gonna say, I'm like, I had to go to like 3 different Whole Foods to try to track it down because I could not find quinoa milk. And it was
Quinoa
and it was
milk.
on the list of like what she needed in her smoothies. But the pay was really good.
I feel like, for Carrie Noir, I feel like Radiohead is ultimately the Gen X band. And like, certainly they're good enough that millennials care, but they are Gen X. Like, that's their thing.
Yeah.
Them and Nirvana. Those are like
Yeah.
the bands. Millennials don't care about rock music as much, I don't think.
Yeah, just give me all the uns music. Give me the Diplos. Give me the Major Lazer. Major Lazer in particular I really like. Even though that is Diplo, but it's like Diplo being Caribbean. And I don't want to look into it too hard because I'm afraid if I do, I'm going to get really disappointed about how much cultural appropriation he's probably doing.
Sure.
But I'm assuming he's working with as many Caribbean artists as possible to get that sound so accurate.
Ooh, I
But-
should run this idea past you and see what you think. Go ahead.
But I really enjoy Major Lazer and Diplo stuff. Even though here's the thing, like Diplo and Deadmau5 have like awful reputations as
Artists?
like as like people, as artists they're highly, like admired.
Right.
But as people they're assholes. And I usually kind of don't fuck with that. If you're an asshole in person, I won't care about your music at all. But with them, I've like excused it, and I always feel bad about excusing it, but I like their music so much. And they're kind of assholery they are. They're assholes to their peers, and not so much like the general public or fans. If that makes sense?
Yeah, I mean, I don't...
Diplo more so. Diplo has like fucked with his fans, which isn't the best. But Deadmau5 has always just fucked with his peers, and I'm kind of like, well, that's fine. That's your job, not...
I have the opposite take of everyone in the world about this. I don't care what the artists do to evaluate whether I like their stuff. They don't.
No,
I don't think they deserve a job.
I think
but
that's
like,
most people. I think most people are in that camp. They're like, oh, I like the thing and I like the thing.
I don't think that's true. I think that this...
But there's certain people where it's just like I can't listen to any Chris Brown stuff because it's just like...
I understand that.
I can't mentally separate it.
Right.
And
Right.
R. Kelly
But,
now
like-
is kind of like, oh, I definitely can't. But the thing is, with R. Kelly, I did for a while. Until it got to the point where it's like, yeah, I can't ignore that anymore.
R. Kelly stuff. Because it keeps throwing it in your face so much.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So, but like, for instance, I think everybody who likes films has to ask themselves, like, how seriously are they offended by Roman Polanski?
I don't
Or-
think I've ever watched any of his movies.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Have you seen Chinatown?
Nope.
You ever seen The Piano?
Nope.
Or The Pianist, excuse me.
Nope.
Wow. Well, I'm gonna tell you
Well,
something.
maybe. Is that the one at the end? Like, maybe I saw
Adrian
it.
Brody won an Academy Award for
Is
it.
there a scene with a sniper and somebody sacrifices themselves because of a sniper?
Maybe? I don't
If
remember.
there is, maybe I've seen it. Otherwise, then no.
It's a Holocaust movie.
I might have seen it. If I did, it's because high school makes you watch all the Holocaust movies.
Okay. I don't think it came out when you were in high school. Because you're 2 years younger than me.
Because I saw Schindler's List in high school.
But that came out like 10 years before. Like, I think The Pianist came out in like 2004.
Yeah, I don't think I've actually gone out of my way to see that. For sure.
It's good. It's a good movie. I know.
I've only seen one Woody Allen movie, and I was just like, this is not good. I was like, never mind. I don't like this at all.
That's fair. I think he's really good. But
It was that Vicky Cristina movie. I was like, this.
That's a good movie. You don't like that movie?
No, I was just like, none of these characters make sense.
I mean, I'm not gonna die on a hill for these guys.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's like,
Yeah.
like I watched it going, I'm like, this way. Like, I just didn't.
You didn't believe it?
I didn't I didn't believe it, and I was
Okay.
just like, I don't.
I just didn't like the movie.
Yeah, it was like, I don't. But my friends were all like, that was really good, and I was just kind of in my head like,
Right.
but why? Like, who does that? Like, why would? Even though as an adult, I could go now, I could go back and I'm like, oh, I guess I could see some people getting into relationship situations like that. But even then, there's still a lot of like, why would you? Like,
Yeah. Didn't feel like human beings would do this.
yeah.
See, like, I've seen probably about 20 Woody Allen films, and I've seen 5 that I thought were really, really good. Really good.
Okay.
Now, at no point in my adult watching of Woody Allen did I not know the accusations against him. But in the last couple of years, I think the reality of it set in some, and also the social pressure to think he's bad. And it's like, okay, it's harder to watch Manhattan, way harder to watch it, you know? because he romances a 17-year-old in that movie,
Ew.
and it's rough. It's really rough.
Ew.
And it's the same deal with like Polanski. It's like I can't think of any scenes that particularly haunt me in the same way. But like I knew the story, and I still liked the movie when I was younger. Now, you know,
It's
the social pressure of it and the consciousness of it, it's harder to do it.
Yeah, it's rough. Like, I was rewatching Parks and Recs the other day, and like all
Right.
the Louis stuff came up, and I was just like, "Oh, dang it!"
You ruined this for you. But see,
Well, it's kind of
I
like
don't.
the character I still enjoyed,
Right.
but it was like, damn, like that's a bummer because now there's a part of me that when I see the character, I'm like, oh, he's gonna like jerk off in front of Leslie. Like that's just like, you know what I mean? Like it would like I could see that happening.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to get quoted as being the guy defending all these people as, who cares? It's not that. Their behavior's reprehensible. But, like, when we evaluate their work, I don't know.
I think there's gonna be a time where, because right now, since everything's really raw,
Right.
that there's gonna be a time where people are gonna be able to go, this person awful. They did this thing that has merit, but are going to be able to not necessarily separate, but just
Sure.
understand, like be able to acknowledge both at the same time.
Like, I think we're sort of figuring that out with figures like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson,
Yeah,
right?
where you're like, okay,
And
like
you have to.
yeah, because it's both. Because it's like,
Right.
yes, they did all these things, but also they did all these things.
Right. You don't want to erase the bad things they did, but you also don't
But you also want to
wanna
acknowledge.
only make that their legacy, you know, like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know what we do with these entertainers. I think entertainment is not substantial enough to deserve.
That kind of thing, because it's not like you're not like doing this historical.
I mean,
Like
in
it's the same
100
thing. Like
years, will we remember Louis C.K.? Like,
probably
this-
not.
Like Woody Allen, we might. Like that's possible, you know.
But
Roman
even like the
Polanski,
stuff
we
of
might.
like speaking of like Black History Month, like with Martin Luther King, like people don't talk about like he cheated on his wife and was a womanizer. Like he was not
Who's this?
Martin Luther King.
Right.
Yeah, like he like did some shady shit to women.
Sure, so did Gandhi.
Yeah, and Gandhi did too. And it's like, but no one. It's like, for the most part, history is just like, no, we don't want to talk about that stuff. But within the community, it is talked about.
But we're so
But it's like, it's,
hell-bent on this idea that in order to do something extraordinarily good, you have to be extraordinarily good. And I don't think that's true.
no, it's definitely not.
And it's like time that maybe we embrace that fact.
I think, and I'm hoping that that's what's happening now, because I think it's healthier
I think the
to
opposite is
acknowledge.
happening.
Well, I think it's because it's being talked about more. That's why I
Right.
think it's healthy. Because before, you just wouldn't hear it.
That's true. But like, certainly we're not going in the direction where these actions are less important. They're more important now, as they should be. But the reaction that I'm hearing is mostly like, all their work is bad now. We have to like erase everything they made, and it's like like mentally and emotionally.
I
And it's
think-
like, well, do we?
For some things, yeah, and that's the thing. It's going to be on an individual basis.
Right. Like I, not to be a hypocrite, but like, I can't watch the Cosby Show.
Oh yeah, I can't watch the Cosby
it.
Show anymore either. Like,
Yeah.
because it's the severity of the
It's just so
situation,
tough.
and you're like, I can't. Like, it's not separated now.
Yeah.
Like, I can't.
Especially because it really feels like it's about him,
Yeah.
you know? Whereas
But
like,
like, I could watch. I'm still gonna probably rewatch Baby Driver someday and still be able to enjoy that movie, even though Kevin Spacey's in it.
that's right, he is in it.
But I won't be able to watch a movie that's where Kevin Spacey's the main character. Like it's like I want to catch up on House of Cards because I know
Yeah.
they're going to focus on Claire more the next season, and I kind of want to see that. I do, but I'm missing seasons and I have to catch up, and I don't want to catch up because I'm like,
So like there's like weird blind spots, right? Where like for instance, Michael Richards from Seinfeld, right, had that pretty epic racist rant. And I've watched the footage of that, and it's like, ooh,
yeah.
You know?
But I can still see a Seinfeld episode and be fine.
Exactly.
But I can't, if I see him as a person outside, I'm like, no, he creeps me out.
So is it because the character of Kramer is far enough away?
Yeah.
That
I think so, because I can't see Kramer saying the N-word like that. Does that make sense?
No, you can't. But that's the thing.
And also because
like,
Kramer's not the main guy. He's not like...
Well, he's pretty important to that show.
He's important, but he's not the star of that show.
But if you removed him, it's a way worse show. Way worse.
Also, like, Seinfeld's one of those shows where it's like, I had a hard time watching it too.
Oh, of course.
I was just like, you guys are all awful people, and it's hard to watch.
I mean, we all have our tastes, right? And like
I was a Friends person.
I love Friends. I love Friends.
I love Friends though.
So did I. I've watched every episode. I love it.
So it's good and bad now.
It's great actors.
It's so like.
It's still good.
Their timing is great.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, the writing's not always good, but it was great.
It doesn't age as well as I wish it did.
A lot of gay jokes. A lot of gay jokes. But you also are kind of like, look, that's how they did this shit.
Yeah.
So, you know, yeah. That show was good. But like, what if you found out that fucking Lisa Kudrow was a murderer? You know?
Ooh, that would be hard. That would be hard to watch it. It would just be like, oh.
Or Matthew Perry was racist. You know, like, does that change the show? Can you not watch it? Is the show bad now? Like, I don't know.
That would kind of fuck it up for me.
For you, yeah.
Yeah.
But see, I think
like to a point. Like I might be able to go back and watch it, but it'd just be like that type of stuff. Like it changes your perception of someone so quickly that like it sticks in your head that when you see the person, it's going to be hard to, especially if you associate the character with the actor. Like you are that person.
See, I still feel like we all need to embrace the idea.
Like I can't like any Tom Cruise movie. It's very hard for me to be like Tom Cruise is playing a part. To me, it's Tom Cruise is playing Tom Cruise in this role. It's not Tom Cruise playing like Tom Cruise isn't Ethan Hunt. He's Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible.
60 seconds left on the clock.
You know, like it's just
It gets worse than the following ones too. So I still feel like because it's true, we as a culture need to get our minds around the idea that you can be a bad person and make a good thing. And like figure out a way to let both those things be true.
Yeah, because I mean that's how we tell our stories. There are good guys and bad guys. Like it's very hard. It's very hard
to stop that.
Yeah, it's very hard to live in the gray.
Right, but we should. Like that's what we need to do. That's like basically why The Sopranos is such a big deal.
Because he's definitely a bad dude.
But he has moments of goodness, and you believe them. He's not all bad. He's not all black hat, you know?
Yeah.
He's a person. A person with a lot of illnesses and sociopathy, you know?
That's kind of why Breaking Bad was kind of popular too, though. But like Breaking Bad, you saw him turn into a monster. There's a point where it's just like he crosses the line where you're like,
and
you're done with
that show got less interesting when that happened. Whereas Tony Soprano started as a monster, and like you had to come to grips with his humanity and watch him fuck it up over and over and over and over. And it's an amazing show. It's amazing.
I don't even think I saw the first season.
Oh fuck, that's a great show. It's very violent though.
Yeah, it was. I only saw the first because at the time, like it's like if you have the DVDs, and one of my roommates in college had the DVDs, so so I would sit and watch. She's watching it, and then she didn't have the other seasons, so I just never saw it, and then
Yeah.
by the time, like, I remember everyone being pissed off at the ending and just going like, oh, okay, I guess I'm not gonna watch that show.
The ending's great. The ending's fucking
Well, I know with
amazing.
it, and like the idea of like, oh, you don't know, that's fine.
No, you do.
He's dead, right? I assume he gets like that's it.
So good. Perfect. It's a perfectly executed ending, in my opinion. I do realize that I'm arguing that these people's transgressions don't matter.
They do
And
matter though.
They do matter. I just think we should be able to separate the artist from the artwork. Or I think we're gonna have to, I guess.
Is it the kind of thing where? Yeah, I think it's gonna have to be like on an individual basis, which is also like kind of backwards to how we operate as people too. Where it's just like
Right.
if you have to treat everybody the same.
And I like that. I don't want that to be different. I mean, I think I want
I think I'm more
principles applied in fair, individualized ways, but I don't want one guy to do exactly the same thing as another guy, and for first guy to get a pass because he's handsome, or white, or likable. Like, no, I don't want that. I want that kind of stuff to be fair. You know?
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion.
I mean, like individual, like it's how connected the artist is to the art. I think that's how that's going to affect whether that's going to be able to differentiate them from the art.
I don't know how.
Which is essentially like how, like, it's very hard for me to watch anything with Johnny Depp right now. Like but he's also the type of actor that when I see him play a part, I don't see the character. It's Johnny Depp.
Yeah, you see Johnny Depp.
And that's why I can't separate it.
But so wait. So does that make Edward Scissorhands bad? Does it make it bad? Is that movie bad now?
No, for that one, not as much because that's early Johnny. When I watch that movie, that's Edward Scissorhands. That's not Johnny Depp.
Right. So, but
That's
what you're
the
really
character.
describing is not. It has nothing to do with Johnny Depp. It has to do with how you deal with movies. Like, and I'm saying that.
But I think that's how most people are with these people. Like it's.
I don't think they are. I don't think
You
that's
don't
true.
think so?
No.
Is the chat still there? How does the chat feel about this?
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, because I'm not going to die on a hill for this.
Oh, yeah. Like, this is
it's
not,
more
like-
of a theory. And I certainly know that it's not the internet's position on it, but I don't know. It's like, to me, is Chinatown a bad movie? No. Chinatown's good. You know, watch it. You can tell. It's a good fucking movie.
What's it about?
It's about a guy who's insurance, or he's a PI, gets hired under fraudulent pretenses to investigate an affair, and then it turns out that the person that he was investigating gets murdered.
Carrie has a good point.
I don't think past work should be expunged from the record, but I do have a problem with... Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Being rewarded for it afterward is very much like, ugh.
I agree with that. That makes sense. Yeah, they don't deserve to have a job.
Yeah.
I get that.
It'd just be like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, you gotta not. Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Especially if what they did was using their power to
Agreed.
to hurt another person. But like, let's be honest, if I went out there and fucking murdered a person and I went back to my day job at an accounting firm and they found out, they'd fire me.
Yeah.
That's how this works. You know, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so why we shouldn't expect that an actor or director doesn't get fired for that, you know? Don't know. I don't know what a murderer does for work once they're
Out of jail.
I don't know what
Well,
that
they
is.
have a hard time getting jobs because they're
Yeah.
felons. I don't think, do murderers get out of jail?
Sometimes. Of course they do. Not all of them, but a lot of them do. Sure.
Huh.
I mean, if
Oh, I
it's like
guess
a
it's like-
single murder and it's a crime of passion,
Like a manslaughter situation?
that's not manslaughter, that's a murder.
Oh.
Like, let's say I insulted you right now, and you were so mad that you pulled that gun from your purse and shot me in the head. You got caught. The cops are like, "Star, that was some bullshit," and the judge says you're guilty. You're not going to get 60 years for that. You're going to get like 28, something like that. You know, it's a single act of passion. I mean, it's mitigating circumstances.
Yeah.
But they'll probably read Ruby Whipple and be like, she can't be that bad. That's a good comic.
They'd be like, something must have happened.
Right. They'd be like, she was like writing this beautiful purple-haired witch story. Give her less years, you know? And my parents would be really mad, and they'd cry. You know, why did you kill our son?
So like, did you hear what he said though?
And they'll be like, no. Yeah.
You're
Being
like,
a racist shitbag. There's been that many people that have been publicly outed for being racist.
outside
so
of
far.
like politics,
Yeah.
they're kind of being real blatant about it.
Yeah. No doubt. But also, in the aggregate, and it's hard to say because we're in the middle of it, don't we think this is a sort of death spasm for that way of thinking?
I don't know. I
I
feel
think it is.
I get nervous that this is like us repeating history where we're like how we did like the Japanese internment camps
Uh-huh.
and like anything that's like early fascism, because fascism always doesn't seem as bad as it does in the beginning. Like
Right.
that stuff
That's
sneaks
possible.
up, like it sneaks up on you. So I always just get nervous because there are people who just live their lives and continue like you just. Well, what else are you gonna do? You're just gonna go do what you're doing while like horrendous shit is going on. Because what, as like an individual, a single individual, gonna do? So you just keep going on with your day, and that mentality, even though
Right,
I'm
lets people take power.
lets people
Right.
take power, and it's one of those where it scares me because I'm actively participating in that. Like I'm going to work, even though I'm like, well, what nightmare am I reading on my like phone right now?
I know, but
You
like,
know?
so can I add one element to this that we haven't really thought about or talked about too much? So, I can't say that I'm an authority figure on this, and maybe Robert Evans is, but I'm pretty sure most of the authoritarian figures that have come to power in the last like 150 years have come to power because the country was in financial crisis, or they were conquered, overthrown. Like there was a government that was overthrown, right? So
I
we're in a
I think-
situation where
I was gonna say, I think we're about to be in a financial crisis.
I think we're in a financial crisis as far as not having the same upward mobility we used to have.
Yeah, and I think there's gonna be like another big bubble that's gonna.
The student loans.
Yeah, that's
and
just-
other, right.
And with
There's-
this new tax cut stuff, they're attempting to. Right now, from last I heard, they're trying to fuck with Social Security right now.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that where I'm like, you're fucking with people's money and then riling up the racism while you're fucking with people's money.
That's
Like-
that's standard Republican shit. They've been doing that for decades. Like the Social Security thing was the only topic of conversation in the 90s. Like everybody argued about that shit every fucking day. And you know why? Because we couldn't reconcile the spending with the entitlement program because Republicans want to get rid of it. That's old as time, you know? And I'm not trying to diminish it, and other people probably have different takes. For me, it's not the tax bill that's the problem. It's the not able to get rid of money in politics,
Yeah.
and it's no serious reckoning about how older people in the baby boomer generation have all the wealth and opportunity, and the generations after them can't get it.
Yeah.
That's the problem, and we have to figure that out. You know, baby boomers are gonna never fucking die. Like, fuck them, seriously. Like,
No, I'm just.
they've drained the lifeblood from everyone.
I'm
you know?
just. I'm trying to think of the shoot. There was like a line. There's a cartoon I never got to see, but I know like lines from it. It's a black kids cartoon, but it wasn't for kids.
Yeah.
And it was like some things never die, and I can't remember what the something was.
Like, my parents are baby boomers, and they're wonderful people. Like, they really are. You know, like, and they haven't robbed me of opportunities. So it's not like all baby boomers, but like, on the whole, that generation has made it harder for people to make their way. They've taken away the opportunities that they got,
Yeah.
you know, and made it harder for other people to get
You know,
them.
the idea of like owning a house, it seems like, what? What are you talking about? That's not.
My dad and my mom, my dad was not college educated, and he saved money from his construction job, and by the time he was 24, had built his own house in 1970, whatever.
Oh, that's
right?
cool.
Yeah. Then he owned a lot that house was on. Then he inherited some money from his dead grandmother, enough to invest in building some more houses on this lot, right? Which back then was like, you know,
You can
30
do
grand,
it. Yeah.
40 grand. And then like by the time that they sold their property, they sold it for, you know, 10 times the amount, 20 times the amount. It's insane. You know? You can't do that shit anymore. That's over.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hmm.
Mr. Floyd Pinkerton. Baby boomers' greatest scapegoats ever since millennials.
What?
I'm assuming that Mr. Floyd Pinkerton is offended by the idea of baby boomers being blamed. And I get it. If it was me, I would feel the same way. But financially, the facts are it is much harder for younger generations to make their way than it was in 1946 to 68 or whatever.
Yeah.
Those people had a much easier time getting a college degree, starting a business, like all those things. They weren't $500,000 or $250,000 in debt to get a higher education. To be a doctor, it's $500,000.
Yeah, you could pay off college by working a summer job back in the day.
I'll straight up never pay for film school unless I sell a script and get famous. Like, it straight up won't happen.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. I worked for Cracked, didn't make a killing, but I made some money, and I could barely afford to have an apartment.
Yeah, I can't afford to move closer to work.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the... But that's also inflation in LA.
It's inflation in LA.
Although we're not as bad as San Francisco, but it's still pretty bad out here.
We're not as bad as
I've been
San
writing letters to the governor saying, how do we fix our rent situation?
Jerry Brown's pretty good. He's done a good job.
Yeah, I've been doing, like, you know that Resist app where they send faxes to the offices? Have you done that? Like, I've been just doing that to, like
No.
and just asking about rent, just being like, hey, I don't know what solution here is, but can you figure out maybe how to, like, create more lower income housing around, or like incentivize people to stop building like these fancy ass condos that no one could afford.
And put some parking under him.
Yeah, put some parking underneath. Like, I don't need these fancy condos that are like, here's the gym and here's the pool and here's the like the apartment I live in is such a basic apartment that if there was just more like a new version of that, more of those. It's just a plain old apartment.
I mean, my apartment that
Like
you're in right now is pretty plain.
This apartment is great. More of these. Like, simple, like a parking space, a great apartment, stuff that works.
Yeah.
You know, heck, if you want to be fancy, let's put in some central air.
That'd be nice.
You know, like, that's also why I don't want to leave my apartment. I have central air. I'm like,
Central air is like a miracle.
But
like
I'm in
a
the
tiny
valley,
miracle.
so it's kind of like if you don't have central air in the valley, you're like dying in the summer.
Yeah.
It's a hellhole.
I guess in fairness, if I got even mildly successful at commercial directing, I'd be able to pay off my school bills. So I don't want to make it sound so dire. But again, I'd have to make a lot of fucking money. A lot of money. Oh, I love that our chat got involved with it. Carrie Noir
Oh,
says
this
she's
is good.
38, still living paycheck to paycheck. I'm 37, and I don't even have a paycheck.
Yeah, I'm also definitely living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
But my car,
And you're,
my
and
car
you're
trouble.
24.
I'm 35.
I know, I was just being sweet.
But
or whatever.
the recent car trouble I had is really kind of fucking me over on my budget.
Hmm.
And it's just like, dang it. But it is what it is, and you just keep on living. And
Yeah.
lots of debt. I have so much credit card debt.
I think the truth is that none of us really believe the debts are real because they're impossible to pay off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's going to happen is we're going to have a big financial crisis.
And then that's when I have to be nervous about leaving the state.
Yeah.
Like I'm nervous about just going to Arizona because it's like I have a driver's license and stuff, but I don't carry my passport on me.
Why? Would they deport you?
Well, no, it's a matter of like they're starting to do things where it's just like you have to have like papers that prove you're a citizen. Like they're stopping people on Amtrak just and being like, "Where's?"
Because they're black?
If you're any sort of brown, they're just like, "Hey, by the way," like shit like that's happening. ICE is really bad right now. They're just
Really?
Yeah, just stopping people, just being like, "Oh." I'm talking, I'm like, and I'll clearly go, "I'm black," and they might be like, "All right, fine," but the fact that they would even ask for documentation at all is a thing,
Yeah.
and that's scary. It's super scary.
Yeah.
There's places where I heard they were doing things where like they're greeting people at airports just to see, like, say, good morning, hello, and listening for accents. To just ask, like, hey, can you see your
Why?
documentation?
I don't understand why. Like, what are we trying to do?
It riles people up.
Right, but okay, so what I don't understand, and maybe it's because of my ignorance, is what exactly are the people who are this mad about all the immigration? What are they mad about?
A
Like-
mix
like-
of they don't want these people here because they're not, quote unquote, not one of us.
Because,
They're, quote unquote, taking our jobs and money and
but that's just
and
demonstrably not true.
No, I know. And they're changing our culture. They're taking they're taking advantage of our system. They're taking things that could go to me maybe.
My
You know?
money pays for it.
Yeah, it's a lot of that. And just good old fashioned plain racism.
Do you think racism is primary or secondary?
What do you mean by that?
So, like, anger is a secondary emotion. So, like, when you're angry about something, it's because it's a coping mechanism for feeling sad or embarrassed or some emotion like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, anger is secondary. Do you think that racism is the core of the problem, or a way we manifest a different problem?
I think it's the way we manifest a different problem.
What's the problem?
Feelings of inadequacy
Okay.
is, I think, one of the bigger ones. And looking to, and because a lot of it, some of it's wanting to feel superior.
Yeah.
And you might be poor, you might be dumb.
Because
you
you
might,
feel inferior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's an element to, I might not be the greatest person, but I'm better than this person because at least I'm not black, or at least I'm not this other thing.
Sure.
Same thing like with dudes too, where it's just like I might not be like the greatest dude in the world, but at least I'm not a woman. And
But
like
racism is fundamentally, I think, fearful, right?
yes, I think so.
And
It's
so,
more, I think it comes out of fear more than it comes out of like the anger makes the fear kind of stuff. But it's definitely like a fear that your culture is not strong enough to survive interacting with another culture or another people. Like, does that make sense?
I wonder how many people really think about their culture I mean, how many white people really think about their culture in particular?
Well, it's the ones that are all like, oh, white people are disappearing and we have to preserve our you know, our bloodline and blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's thought about. And like, a lot of racism too is just, well, I mean, there's different levels of racism as well. Like,
Of
you
course.
could be in the city and like be around, like, yeah, there's there could go on
most
that.
racism that I encounter, or if I'm being really honest, that I've found pop up in my heart once in a while, is fear-based. Some of it's instinctual.
Oh,
some of it's like
and
bad things I learned.
And here's the thing, I have that too. Like, it's a mix
Right.
of like, that's just, what's weird, everyone is taught that. You could be racist against your own people for sure.
Of course.
Just because you're in the same environment that teaches you, hey, this is bad.
Right.
This is quote unquote bad. These people are bad. Be nervous, be afraid. And it sucks because, like, it's just, the generalizations is just bad.
Well, so what's interesting is, I mean, all of that is interesting. But, like, so what's interesting is if we agree, because we kind of do, that racism is not a primary core driving element, that it's a symptom of a different problem, then the cure to racism has to, in effect, address that core problem. Right?
Yes.
It does. And if you don't, then you will not really cure the racism.
Right.
Even if
It's,
you...
for example, it's kind of like, okay, when like Black Lives Matter was becoming a thing, and then people
Right.
were saying like, no, but all lives matter. It's because, and people were getting frustrated because,
They're afraid that they
well, it's like,
are
well,
being devalued.
right, because the thing is, they weren't hearing, when they heard Black Lives Matter, they were hearing white lives don't matter. When really the definition of Black Lives Matter is Black
Right.
Lives Matter too. Like, it's the invisible
Yes.
too. Like, but that's not what was interpreted because of the fear where you're like saying, well, like, if you're for this, that means you're against this other thing. And it's like, no, it's just, we're trying to just literally just be acknowledged is the
I read,
thing. And it's, but that's, instinctually, that's hard to, like, if you're not thinking about it, like, you go toward the fear part.
I read your Tumblr post about this a while ago.
I was gonna say, I'm like, oh, my Tumblr's been like this art lately.
I mean, it
and
was
silly stuff.
But you like linked to a few articles about
yeah,
this
yeah.
subject. I know you're very passionate about it.
I will
So-
admit before you go, like, there are people who, like, the reason I reblog and all that stuff, other people speaking about it, because there are so many more people who are way more eloquent about it than I am. Because I could feel the thing, but sometimes it's hard for me to articulate why or like what exactly. You know what I mean?
I think, in my opinion, as a person who is a white guy and has been conservative in his life and is now not, it's more important that you are honest than that you're right.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's more important. And I know that it took me a little while to get over the sort of 90s definitions of prejudice and racism
Mhm.
that are basically like, everybody's got to be treated the same,
Mhm.
nobody gets favored, you don't make any assumptions based on how people look.
And now it's more nuanced.
Now
Ish.
it's just straight up different. It's not even nuanced, it's different.
Well, people are figuring out that like even it took me a while to learn when someone said like, oh, you can't be racist against white people. That like took a second to be like, are you what? What do you mean?
Right.
Because what's the word?
Because it's prejudice, but not
Because
racist.
it's prejudice, it's not right. Because racism is a systematic thing.
Right.
It's not
So
necessarily an individual.
We redefined that word.
Yeah,
We redefined it.
and it took a second for that to kind of even begin to get out there because, yeah, everybody has that basic, like, oh, racism means you don't like someone because of their race, therefore,
Right.
but it's, oh, no, racism's a systematic, like, thing. It's
Right.
bigger than that.
Right.
But yeah, you could definitely be prejudiced. You can be prejudiced against a lot of shit.
And prejudice sucks.
It does.
Like, it's not acceptable. It's as no. It's just not acceptable. So, but my only bone of contention about this is that I don't think we ever did culturally come together and redefine that word. I think what happened was some people who were more advanced in their thinking, or perhaps who had a blog or whatever, accepted this new definition and then assumed we should all catch up.
Because that's how that works.
Exactly.
That's how things get picked up in general.
100%.
And, like, all of it, like,
100%.
you know, and it takes, and sometimes, you know, like, it's also learning, like, a lot of it is it's harder to pick it up when you realize that you were probably following, like, the bad part of the situation, like, you were probably on the wrong side of a situation, whether, like, and it's coming to terms where you're like, oh yeah, maybe I wasn't as good as I thought I was, even though I thought I was playing by, like, the rules that everything was going. You know, does that make sense?
I guess I would put it this way. So, because, like, I know that I felt pain on this subject for about 8 months until somebody explained what the fuck was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there were things that I was reading or hearing from people I knew that were like, that's straight up hateful. What the fuck are you doing? And why are other people okay with it? And it's because, at least for me, I internalized the idea of all prejudice is bad, racism is terrible, being accused of racism is one of the most terrible things that can happen to you. It's unacceptable. And when we changed the definition of that, suddenly it became important for people like me to accept that they are in fact a part of racism, and that's the exact opposite of what we learned to do. Like, we learned to distance ourselves from those ideas as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And again, there was no seminar. There was no, like, fucking class or place you could go, you know? So,
if it helps, like, I mean, on various degrees, but almost everybody kind of goes through that. Like, I've like, my versions of going through that growing up were more, like, I've had to deal with, like, stuff dealing with colorism and, what's it called? What's the word when, like, respectability politics within black culture. Like, that's a thing that I've had to, like, go through and, like, internalize and realize, like, oh shit, I was a part of that as well, because I was also taught that. I was taught respectable, like, well, if you behave good, then no one's gonna treat you bad. And for the most part, no one's treated me bad, but that's also because I'm light-skinned. So I get treated nicer than someone who's darker than me. Like, I get treated way nicer than my mom because she's darker skinned. And because I don't have an accent, because I don't have the quote-unquote...
So those rules work better for you.
Those rules work better for me, and having to learn that, like, oh, well, if you just act like this, like, you know, you're a bullshit little kid, and you're like, well, if you act like this, no one's going to treat you bad. And it's like, well, that's not how that should work. Like, you're not doing anything wrong by talking with an accent or just, you know, like... Like, it's just... But, like, coming to terms with a lot of that and going, like, oh, I was part of that system, too.
Sure.
But you realize, you kind of, like, internalize it. You go, okay, I understand. And what this means now is that when people who have a harder time than you do because of certain situations, is you hear them out and you let them speak, and you don't try to, you know, you don't try to negate their feelings, is essentially the main thing I've learned from all of that.
I think it's the main thing we've learned from the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Because, you
well,
know...
for me at least, it's been... I mean, this has been, like, a thing for me since I want to say, like, high school, just really figuring out, particularly, like, the colorism stuff. And because when I was younger, for example, like even then I've had to like call my mom out on this, like where me just saying I'm black was like a thing. Like I wouldn't say I was black. I would be like, I'm mixed, I'm biracial. Like I would own that identity, but I wouldn't own blackness. And my mom, like growing up, encouraged that because she was doing it out of like a defense mechanism too, because black people get treated bad. So if you're not black, then you won't get treated bad. Like that's just it's like a weird, it's a fucked up logic. But when you grow up with that in your head,
you just do it.
You just do it, and then when you start coming to terms where it's just like, well, you know what? No, like I'm mixed, but I'm also black. Like that's just what it is. I am. My experience.
Black is part of the mix.
Yeah, black is part of the mix, and mind you, yes, my experiences are different than someone who is darker than me and stuff. But it still doesn't remove blackness from me.
No.
And like even within the community, that's the thing. There's people who like try to define like how black are you, you know, and things like that. And there's like, and it's weird. It's a weird thing, and people are still sorting it out, and everyone seems to be kind of learning as they go. And it might just be part of the thing where you're just continuously learning and continuously.
As we need to be.
Yeah.
Would you, I guess I do have one point that I wanted to make.
Okay.
But not really in response to anything you just said, but all of that is great. The point that I wanted to make with that anecdote I was sharing was that I think it's fair for me to characterize myself as being fairly open-minded, like pretty open-minded, especially because I've actually changed my beliefs, like gone on a journey from one end of the ideological spectrum to the other.
Which is good.
Right.
Because that means you're like thinking and growing and at least you're trying to figure it out, which is better than being like, well, fuck it, I'm going to be stuck in my ways and this is what it is.
Which is what most people are.
Yeah.
Most people are that. On both sides of this ideological conversation. And I found that the approach on these issues is so heated and loaded with terms that we don't all agree what they mean, that they seem intended to alienate and not to fix, not to heal, or even to inform. Does that seem true to you?
I feel like a lot of there is an element to I want to say like internet culture is very bad at or hasn't figured out like how to do call out culture in a way where people can like figure out and grow. Like there's Tumblr used to have this issue where like there'd be somebody who would say something inappropriate but they didn't realize what they said, or like because they just didn't know, and this happens on Twitter too, where like somebody will say something awful but either not realizing it or you know just out of ignorance or whatever, and they'll get like dumped on.
Right.
You know, to the point where it's just like, oh, you just scared this person off the internet essentially.
Well,
to kind of feel
you
good.
made them your ideological enemy, and you didn't need to do that.
Right. And right now we're not good at. Well, I don't know if we're getting better at it or worse, but
I don't think we're getting better at it.
But we're not good at differentiating who necessarily would need to tear that person down, like they're clearly like a Nazi or something. Where you're like, yeah, like get them.
Versus, like when do you need to be an asshole?
Yeah.
Like when do you need to do that?
Yeah, versus like, okay, this was like an 18-year-old who really like didn't like. How do you not know? Don't say that particular slur, you know?
And so now let me inject one more layer of concern onto this, because like we agree on that. That's my major problem with the conversation. But the second layer of problem is related, and it's this: that it's easier to make money when you treat people unkindly
Oh yeah, of course.
than it is when
But
you
that's-
do good.
But that's part of, we've had that issue with human nature from the get-go. It's just heightened now because we have the internet, and it's
And because there's a lot of money to be made on the internet.
yeah. That's just another part of human nature that we just have to figure out how to have
Well-
more empathy and figure out not to do that, or at least not to reward people who are.
But
doing
we
that.
just have to figure out how to have more empathy is essentially what life's about.
Yeah,
And we're not doing very good at it. And
I don't know. I feel like, I mean, this is just me being optimistic, but I'm more optimistic that young, like as the each generation kind of gets more, like, grows up with this, that
it will get better.
that'll get better. And like right now we're gonna start getting, like, you know, the generation of, like, there's kids, like, their entire lives are on the internet,
Sure.
you know, like their awkward teen years, the things that they fucked up.
Right.
And I've seen this sometimes with YouTubers, like, not with all of them because it depends on what you did, but I've seen YouTubers who have said, like, shitty things like 6-7 years ago, either on a tweet or something, and say they do something, and it's like now they're getting called out on and people don't mess with them. But as long as they seem to have, like, an actual sincere apology for, like, their past, they're like, hey, no, this, what I said was shitty. I said it, like, years ago. I've grown a lot since then, and I haven't done that since. And you have that to back you up. Like, you actually have the backup of, like, you haven't said something that bad since. People are more, like, not everybody, because you're not going to make everybody happy, but people are more willing to give you a second chance.
I also
And that's going to, but people are going to learn that because they're going to see the difference between someone who, like, has grown from something in their past versus somebody who, like a Logan Paul situation where it's just like, oh, clearly, like, their apologies aren't real, or they just don't get.
that guy's bad.
Yeah, like, he finally got all his ads, like, money
saw
taken
that.
off.
Yeah, saw that because he tased a dead rat, right?
Yeah, and he.
Let me jump in
And there was,
and
like, a
fix
fish.
this.
Yeah, and there was a fish. He like took a fish out of water and it was having a hard time breathing, kind of thing.
What the fuck's that guy's problem?
He's just, yeah, that's.
He just seems like he wants to see what happens.
It's,
Okay, so
It's
let's-
what, like, I thought was gonna happen to Justin Bieber, and I don't know who was on Justin Bieber's side, but, like, he kind of finally got over that, like, early 20s, I'm gonna do what I want garbage phase,
right.
and now he seems to be like, oh, like, you're just trying to, like, make music and live your life and not, like, do
Yeah,
it,
he's doing
you know?
fine.
But he went through that phase where he was, like, peeing in people's, like, cleaning buckets and causing trouble.
Was he?
Yeah, he went through, like, he was at some club.
Just peeing in buckets?
He peed in a janitor's bucket. Like one of those, you know, those big yellow around.
And they wipe the floors with it?
Yeah, that. He peed in one of those.
Ooh.
Like, he was, like, drunk at some club and did that. And,
Sure.
you know, having loud trouble with his neighbors. Bullshit. And, you know.
Can I get rid of this? Come on. What the fuck?
I don't think anybody's playing right now.
Nobody is playing in the
I mean,
whole
we-
fucking world?
I mean, we could switch to Overwatch if we want to keep having this conversation.
We should, because this conversation's good.
Yeah, we can keep talking
I'm
for
gonna
like
do
another
that.
half hour.
Yeah, I'm gonna
It's
do that.
11. We got to restart the stream.